Praise the Lord. My name is Pastor Rajesh Kedavi. The Bible says in John, the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. So Jesus Christ came, the grace and truth came. So truth and grace combines. Truth is on the side of the grace. Today my question is, are you under law or are you under grace? Because we cannot be in both law and grace. Either we'll be under law or we'll be under grace. Spiritually, it's impossible to be in grace as well as to be in law. So today you have to decide, are you under law or are you under grace? Let's go to Romans 6 verse 14 to 23. For sin shall not have a dominion over you, for you are not under law, under grace. What it says, if you're under grace, sin will not have a dominion over you. Sin will not have a control over you. So if you want to have a victory over sin, in other words, if you're under law, sin will have a dominion over you. Sin will have a control over you. And that's exactly what happens when we preach about the law. It's sad to see that many preachers today are preaching about the law. But the Bible says grace and truth came to Jesus Christ. So we are supposed to preach about the grace, but we are preaching about the law. We are preaching about the sin. We are preaching about right living, right living, right living. Our intentions are right. No problem about the intention. But the fact is that just preaching about right living, just preaching about the law, just preaching about the sin, right living is not going to happen. Because let me tell you, when you preach about the law, first thing what it does, it activates sin. So when people are hearing about the law, what's happening in their life? The sin is getting activated. You don't know it. Because sin gets the power from the law. Without law, the sin is dead. But when you bring the law, it gets its power from the law. It arouses the sinful passion which bore fruits for death. So what happens when you hear the message of law? First thing what happens, it arouses the sinful desires, the sinful passion. And what it does, it bore fruits to death. So that's serious. And also the Bible calls it's a ministry of death. So it's a serious thing when we preach about the law and we hear the message of law. What's happening? We are slowly bearing the fruit for death. Preaching law is called as a ministry of death. So what's happening is that when we are preaching of the law, what we are doing is just slowly by slowly, we are transforming death in the life of the listener. That's not what I'm saying. That's what the Bible says. Now, the thing is that the law is holy. The law is perfect. There is no problem in the law. The law is holy. The law is perfect. The law is righteous. But the problem is that the issue is with us. We cannot keep the law. The Bible says if you miss one law and if you keep all other law, it's like disobeying all the laws. So what happens? We invite the manifestation of the curses of law in our lives. When you are under the law, then sin could have dominion over you because law could find you guilty. Now let's go to Romans chapter 7 verse 5 to 13. For when we are in the realm of the flesh, or when you are under the law, the sinful passion arose by the law were at work in us. What happens when you're under the law? The sinful passion which arises by the law, they are work in us, so that we bore fruits for death. But now by dying to what once bound us, we have been released from the law, so that we serve in the new way of the Spirit and not in the old way of the written code, which is talking about the 10 commandments. Let's read further. Once I was alive apart from the law. What it says? I was alive apart from the law. When there was no law, I was alive. But when the commandments came, sin sprang to life and I died. I found that the very command that was intended to bring life actually brought death. For seizing the opportunity afforded by the commandments deceived me, and through the commandments put me to death. That's what the law does. So today we learned that what is meant to be under the law and what is meant to be under the grace. Now you cannot be in both of it. Either you'll be in law or you will be under grace. When the law was given at Mount Sinai, 3,000 people died. But when the Spirit was given, 3,000 people were baptized. The law kills, but the Spirit gives life.